Hello everybody, my name is Kacha and I'm a furniture artist. Today I got this buffet that is in pretty good shape and I'm going to try and create a rustic glam. Rustic glam is the piece full of texture, look moody, but with a hint of gold and glamorous details on it. The first thing I'm going to do is prep the piece, and what I will be doing, removing all the hardware, closing the holes with wood filler, and I will be sanding it very lightly because the piece is very sleek and I don't want to risk of chalk paint not sticking to it. Now that I'm done sanding, and this was a very light sanding, but this is so important when you're not sure if your paint is going to stick, just do this and you don't have to worry about it. Now that our piece is prepped and clean, I'm going to do a raised stencil using a 3D stencil fiber paste and this beautiful stencil. It's called Distressed Wallpaper. I lay this piece down and now I'm going to tape my stencil in place. One here and one here. So we're just going to grab some. This is very thick and I really like it. As you can see, it doesn't fall. Scrape off the extra and then you can remove your stencil. I'm actually leaving a little bit thicker than usual because I want that nice and thick raised stencil to look like a wallpaper. I'm done with applying paste and now I'm going to lift it and see what we got under. That's beautiful. We can sand later on these little lifted areas, but for now this is perfect. If you got some extra on the wherever you don't want it, you can just use some white wipes and remove that extra. It's much easier to remove when it's wet. You can still remove it, see if it's dry, but you will have to sand it. So this is just easier solution. I washed my stencil and now I'm going to repeat the process. So now that the stencil is completely dry, I'm going to go over lightly and sand a little bit, nothing too much. So now I'm thinking to paint this piece using a black ink color by Waverly chalk paint. And I'm going to add some texture additive. This is by Melange Salt. I'm not going to measure, I'm just going to pour a little bit to get a texture, and I'm going to apply the base coat using this sponge. It's just going to go much faster. Also, I'm not going to apply this paint with the texture on raised stencil because I already have this raised stencil and I don't want to mess it up with extra texture. So this is going to go on top, sides, drawers, and around the raised stencil. I'm going to mix it up first. I add a little bit and I'm going to mix and see how I like the texture. The more you put, the thicker your paint is going to get. So you don't want to put too much. You want to leave it so you can apply it. If you put too much, you will have a hard time applying it. All right, so we can start applying it now. And I told you I will be using this sponge, so we can start from the top. Look at that, how nice it is. Look at all that texture. I'm actually going to moisten my sponge. I think it will help me go faster. So I'm just going to spray some water everywhere a little bit, because it's just going to go smoother on. The sponge is more bendable. We're done with the top, and look at that beautiful texture. This is going to be our undercolor. I'm going to apply different color on top, but look at this beautiful texture. So I'm just going to paint over the raised stencil with a brush. It looks beautiful already, just painted texture. Raised stencil looks just gorgeous already without anything. And this is just the beginning of this piece. We have a long way to go before we're done, but I'm liking how everything is working so far. So our base color is completely dry, and this is what we have left, all this beautiful texture and so much character. So I had this idea for this piece in my head, and I wanted it to be red. But once I painted it all black, then I wanted to be it black. I wanted to leave it the way it is. So because I couldn't decide, I just grabbed a little drawer and I put my idea on the drawer, and I fell in love with it, and I decided just to go with my idea and create this rustic glam look on this piece. For that I will need a red color, and I'm going with crimson from Waverly. And I will need to apply 2 coats for solid coverage. So we're just going to paint everything, a whole piece over. One thing I noticed with all the red colors from all brands is that it takes so many coats for solid coverage. It's like they're so bad at coverage. As you can see, I have to do the second coat of red color because the coverage with the first one wasn't amazing, so I will just go for another coat. So now that my red paint is completely dry, I'm going to distress it and bring that black texture underneath out. That is called two-tone distressing. So I will be using this medium sponge from Surf Prep. And for this area, I am going to go with a very fine. I don't want to go too far, because if I go too far, then I will show white texture. So I don't want to show that. I want everything to just be black. So I'm going to go everywhere. And I'm going to focus the most on the edges. And if you distress too much, you can just go over with a red paint or any color that you're doing. So also this way you're softening the texture if it's too rough. And now I'm going to distress this. I'm going to try with this first, with the medium, and see how that is. Yeah, you can see the red, the white, and I don't want that. So I'm going to repaint over this because as I'm distressing, I'm uncovering all the way, I'm going all the way to the white texture paste, and I don't want that. So I'm just going to repaint over this little here and there, just touch it up. Now I'm going to go over here, fill some areas that I feel like I went too far. Can I have some space in here? Can we share the blanket? Thank you very much. So what we're going to do now, we're going to dry brush our base color ink, and we're going to create a lot of depth and shading, and that is going to take piece to another level. So I'm just going to put a little bit here. For this, I'm using a cheap brush, 2-inch cheap brush, because for dry brushing, I always suggest natural bristle brush, and cheap brushes are very thin and they're just perfect for this effect. And now I'm going to dry brush over this raised stencil. I'm going to dry brush some of the red here because I distressed it too much. I'm doing a lot of back and forth between black and red, and everything is a dry brush. That way you can go back and forth without letting it dry. I first start with a base dry brushing, so I can kind of get an idea what I want, and then I just keep on going, keep on adding, and keep on playing it until I am satisfied with the look. So right now I'm adding more of the heavier dry brush around this raised stencil. I'm kind of creating a frame. I'm done with the shading now. This is all dry and done. I like how it looks, but I definitely miss one part, and that is gold. But before we apply gold, we have to protect everything. And for that, I will be using Anislon clear wax and Redesign with Prima waxing brush. So this part is really boring. It's always the same. You get some wax on your brush, you apply it all over your piece, and once you're done applying this everywhere, you wipe it off to get all the extra, and that's it. So this is going to deepen your color, clear wax. So I was counting on this part because I like this color way better with the protection than without. You can see it's like a pale red. Once you put the protection on, it's a nice, rich red color, makes a huge difference. So I just really love wax for protection. So one final thing I'm going to do, and that is going to bring this piece all together, I'm going to apply some decor wax. It's called Amber Lights, and I'm going to use a little cheap brush to dry brush over stencil area, raised stencil area, and add some around with my finger. So let's do that. I got this hardware at the TJ Maxx for $7.99, so it's $1 a piece, and I think that's a great deal. And we're done. I love this piece. This is my vision of a rustic glam, rustic full of texture, distress, but glamorous in the same way because I added this beautiful hardware and I did a raised stencil with gold. So I really love how this came out. I think it's just a statement piece and it will grab attention in any room, in any home. I really hope you liked this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, leave a comment below and subscribe if you haven't already. I will see you next time with a new project and more ideas. Bye guys!